Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Fraser Field for the first pitch in the 65th Agganis week. In memory of Harry Agganis, the outstanding, most people don't know, three-sport athlete because he played basketball as well as football and baseball. A little bit different this year. We're looking over at Manning Field. There's a lacrosse game going on over there now. Softball here. Popped high in the air. Left fielder will make the play. That was Shannon Cochran from Fenwick.
Now batting from Essex Tech, number 4, Alley County.
Alley County from Essex Tech. Down and in for a ball. Hit in the left field for a base hit. So the first hit in the 65th All-Star game is Alley County.
Now batting from Danvers, number 5, Lily Eldridge.
Lily Eldridge from Danvers will be the hitter. Swing and a miss, she chased the pitch up and in. So far, Julie Ryan from Rockport is doing us a favor. She's batting him in numerical order. Swing and a miss again. Leah Ventry from Saugus is on the mound. Down and in for a ball. I would name the three umpires, but I'm afraid I might not get it correct. So I won't, but I will say thank you to them. A little changeup gets you swinging. Two away.
Now batting from Masconomet, number 7, Olivia.
Olivia Fillmore from Masconomet. Hit foul. It's going to make it up in the seats. Off to catch his glove. Runner doesn't go anywhere. This is a great way for these seniors to finish up their careers at their high school. Some of them played multi-sports. Swing and a miss. And especially for the Lynn kids. Classical English St. Mary's. Hit to third. They make the play. So we get through the first inning. Alley County got the base hit. That was it for the North. Steve Almquist from Saugus is the coach of the South. The North in the blue, the South in the white. And shows you how fouled up this past year has been. It's been great to have everybody get out, play sports, whether it was a couple of games, more than a couple, almost a full season, half a season. It didn't make any difference. They were able to get out and they were able to play games. But it's been bizarre because even now, this is the first time Paul Howland does an outstanding job. He's got a lot of people helping him, but he's the guy behind the desk. He gets it all together. He's done a tremendous job over the years running this, and he's doing it again this year. And he was hard-pressed because the state tournament is being run at the same time the Agganis tournament is being run. The last thing he wanted to do was not have the Agganis games for a second year. But it still runs into each other because now we've got no interference today, although he decided to play most of the games all on the same day. Lacrosse and soccer will be played all day over at Manning Field. Baseball and softball at the same time here. But going on, you've got tomorrow night boys and girls basketball, Agganis-wise. And at the same time, Lynn English and St. Mary's baseball will be playing here at Fraser Field in the state tournament because they started so late and went so late that they're overlapping. State tournament has never gone this late. Aliyah Samiri Cologne from Chelsea is the hitter. Punches it foul past first base. Swing and a miss.
Now batting from Saugus, number 3, Kylie Dalton.
Kylie Dalton from Saugus will be the hitter. In for a strike. Billy Eldridge from Danvers is on the mound. Hit foul back to the screen. Down and away for a ball. This is a good way for these girls. They've played against each other for 4 years. They get to sit in the same dugout. Pretty good start for Eldridge. She gets her second strikeout.
Now batting from Everett, number 12, Madison Smith.
Madison Smith from Everett. So Steve Almquist didn't do us any favors. He's not doing it in numerical order. She tried to hold up and got a piece and fouled it towards third base. Gets a pretty good piece and lines it one hop to the third base coach. So now the fans, sometimes the family might have to split up. Mothers one place, fathers another place, as lacrosse is being played at the same time. Swing and a miss, an impressive inning. So we played an inning in the 65th anniversary of the Agganis start. Little by little, it was only football to start. We'll go through that, but we'll take a break right now. We'll be right back.
Leading off for the North, from Rockport, number 8, Taylor Frost.
Taylor Frost from Rockport will be the hitter, leading off the top of the second inning. This will go 7 innings, whether it's a tie or whatever. They'll play 7 full innings. Even if the team is winning, they'll bat in the bottom of the 7th just to give everybody their shots. Hit in the air, that's over the left fielder's head. A long, solid shot. Around second, heading for third, in with a stand-up triple. Taylor Frost got all of that.
Now batting from Danvers, number 9, Brooke Gracia.
Brooke Gracia from Danvers will be the hitter. They brought the infield in, hit to the shortstop. Safe the errant throw. The runner scored. They could have had a play at the plate.
Now batting from Hamilton Wenham, number 16, Abby Hogan.
So North gets on the board. Gracia gets an RBI even though it was an error because the run would have scored anyway. Abby Hogan from Hamilton is the hitter. Swing and a miss. Some of these players are seeing each other for the first time, like a Hamilton Wenham or Reading, Rockport. And they haven't, some of those that normally see English and Classical didn't see them this year because English and Classical went to the GBL League. Way up and in, she was backing away, almost like self-defense, swinging to that one and fouled it back. I mentioned Paul Halloran, the guy behind all of this, doing an outstanding job, putting everything together. Foul up in the seats and back onto the field. I can mention two of his stalwarts who are with him almost every day, but certainly they've been here every year as long as I can remember here helping out at Agganis. I think they said it hit her. And that's Muna Mullins, retired fighter who gave a lot to the city of Lynn. And another retired firefighter, Buzzy Barton, who gives an awful lot to the city of Lynn. He's been a counselor at large for a long time. And hopefully he'll be re-elected this year as well. Does an outstanding job. Both of them do an outstanding job. And Buzzy does a great job for the city. Former very good athlete at Lynn English. Former very good coach at Lynn English. This is Taylor Holmes, from Reading. She hit that twice. She swung, got a piece, and as the bat was coming behind her, she hit it from behind again. So there's two foul balls. Nice play by the second baseman.
Now batting from Rockport, number 18, Zoe Lucido.
Zoe Lucido from Rockport, the hitter. Hit to third. And they throw her out. They get out of the inning, but not before. But not before the North gets on the board with a run. The error helped, but it was a big triple by Taylor Frost of Rockport that got the run home. And now South will have to come from behind. I mentioned initially Agganis was football, because that's what Harry was, a great football player. And then, of course, people said, well, Harry was a baseball player. And then what about softball? And other coaches and players, well, what about us? What about the other sports? And finally they added it all, and now they've got all encompassed with lacrosse, boys and girls, soccer, boys and girls, baseball and softball, basketball, boys and girls, and we still have the granddaddy, the football game. But as I mentioned, the schedule a little bit different this year. It used to be they would play lacrosse and soccer on Wednesday. Softball, baseball today, they had the opening ceremonies a little bit earlier, 9 o'clock for the opening ceremony. It used to be right at 10, and then they would play here at 12. But they're playing most of the games here today. They'll play 2 basketball games tomorrow night, nothing Tuesday. Wednesday will be the football game. This is Kylie Poisson from Classical. They had a good year. They made the state tournament. They lost a very tough game to North Andover on Friday. And they also went to the GBL championship game. Swing and a miss, chased the high pitch. She's the center fielder for Lynn Classical. And this gets the Swampskits and Marbleheads and Salem and Saugus back together again, because I mentioned Classical and English went to the GBL League. So the beat goes on. All the outs have been strikeouts.
Now batting from Everett, number 8, Haley Oteri.
Haley Oteri from Everett is the hitter. Runs up a couple of times trying to slap and missed it both times. And waves at it again. Hit way up in the air. Shortstop makes a nice play. So another 1-2-3 inning. Alyssa Grossi was the one that popped up to the shortstop. She's having a terrific year with St. Mary's. They won the Catholic Central League. They won the Cup tournament. And they'll be playing in their first state tournament game come Wednesday. But right now, we finished 2 innings here in this 65th anniversary of the Agganis games. North leading the South 1-0.
Leading off for the North from Masconomet, number 20, Eliza Reinhold.
Hit the third. Nice play by Grossi.
Now batting from Pentucket, number 21, Sarah Sargent.
Elijah Ramo from Masconomet was that grounded a shot. Hit foul off the bat of Sarah Sargent from Pentucket. Popped up to the pitcher. Two away.
Now batting from Danvers, number 22, Rebecca Zeldin.
Popped up again. right to the shortstop. So a very quick 1-2-3 inning for Leah Ventry from Saugus. We'll move into the bottom half of the third. This is, we mentioned, 65 years ago, October 1956, the Agganis people got together and decided on honoring an outstanding gentleman. This whole complex, baseball, softball, football, all the sports, the Agganis complex, is a great mural. I think it's like, not really painting, I think it's done in some kind of metal, a great portrait, if you will, of Agganis as you walk into Manning Field. Since that time, back in '56, the Agganis committee has got together and they've given out 1,049 scholarships, totaling over $2,200,000 in memory of one of Lynn's greatest, if not the greatest. We've had a few. Polly Dancers comes quickly to mind. But it's great. They give, as long as you stay in college, I think it's a 4-year scholarship. And as we go along, we won't mention them all, but we'll mention like the locals. It's a tremendous help. Any of you parents out there having kids starting or in college will know that if anybody gives you a nickel, a dime, or a dollar, it's a big help towards paying for that scholarship or the tuition. So to get help every year for the 4 years you're in school can't be any better than that. And we mentioned the scholarship. Leading off the inning is Brooke Warren from Lynn Classical. She's one of the scholarship winners. And very well deserved. She's a tremendous young lady, finishing up a great career at Classical. She guided Classical into the state tournament, into the GBL tournament championship final, and she lost a very tough 2-1 game to North Andover to get eliminated from the state tournament. But she's a terrific young lady. Hit in the left field for a base hit. First hit.
Now batting for the South from St. Mary's, number 4, Marina DiBiaso.
Eldridge had retired 6 in a row before that base hit. DiBiaso hits it long and deep to left field, just foul. Marina is from St. Mary's. She's an outstanding hockey player. Has helped St. Mary's to go deep in tournaments. Last couple of years, she's helped make St. Mary's one of the best hockey programs in the state. And she's helping Frank Pagluca, the hockey coach, make a mark in softball. He's the new softball coach at St. Mary's, and they went 19-2, and they won the league, won the cup, and now they're. Brooke Warren got caught. She falls down and got tagged out. She hesitated to go. The ball got away from the catcher, but it didn't go very far. Rebecca Zellen of Danvers made the nice play, stayed with it. And that's Ella Marshall of Gloucester making the play on the pop-up. So that was...
Now batting from Saugus, number 5, Alexa Ferraro.
inside for a ball. This is Alexa Ferraro from Saugus. Hit right through the third baseman. So she reaches on the error.
Now batting from Wilmington, number 18, Ashley Crawford.
Up and away for a ball. Ashley Crawford from Wilmington. I mentioned again, Wilmington, they don't get to play against Saugus and St. Mary's and Chelsea and Everett. Now they get to meet the young ladies who play on those teams. Hit hard to the third base coach. Way wide for a ball. Nice job by Zellen. So it's an all Danvers battery. Eldridge on the mound, Zellen behind the plate. Hit foul again. And the Zellen family is down in front of me. I talked to them coming in. They're both wearing shirts. And again, right through the wickets at third base. So 2 on with 2 out. Leah Ventry, the pitcher from Saugus, can help herself.
Now batting from Saugus, number 13, Leah Ventry.
Off the catcher. They move up. In for a strike. These girls aren't used to playing on a field like this because it just feels huge when you're out there. Usually with the very large infield with another set of bases behind them, the baseball bases, and then the outfield just goes on forever. Usually they play in the park. There's a fence out there. Hit in the center field for a base hit. So she does help herself. So she gets it done. We'll have a runner for her. Now the Kylie Dalton of Saugus will run for Leah Ventry of Saugus. So the base hit up the middle. Those 2 errors hurt.
Now batting from Wilmington, number 19, Jenna Sweeney.
Second hit in the inning. The other one was thrown out stealing. Swing and a miss. This is Jenna Sweeney from Wilmington. just got a piece and fouled it back. Solid shot to left field. Around second, heading for third, in with a double is Jenna Sweeney.
Now batting.
All of this with 2 outs.
17, Izzy Mahoney.
2 out Lightning and 2 errors really hurt. Izzy Mahoney from Winthrop is the hitter. High in the air, long run for the right fielder, can't get there, it's foul. And for a lot of these kids, like the Saugus kids, a couple of classical kids, there's a couple of English kids, the Danvers Battery, Eldridge and Zellen, a lot of these kids have had an opportunity to play one last game with their teammates. Hit the second, first baseman almost made a mistake. She almost went to go get it, and there wouldn't have been anybody covering first. So 2 big errors in the inning. A big 2-out hit by Leah Ventry, and we've turned the score around. We finished 3. It's now South 2, North 1 at the end of 3. Hit sharply to third base, off the third baseman's glove. And it's been something where you just make errors. That was Ashley Martinez reaching on the error.
Now batting for English, number 25, Ariana Walkowski.
Ariana Wakowski from English. That was Ashley Martinez from English reaching first base. So Lynn well represented here with classical and English. A little different for those English classical kids. They had trips for a little bit longer. Popped up behind home plate foul. And instead of going to Salem, Swampscott, Peabody, Marblehead, they went to Malden, Medford, Somerville, Everett, Chelsea. High for a ball. The runner takes off and steals second base. They let it go. So the tying runner's at second with nobody out here in the 4th inning. Swing and a miss. And for a minute I thought no, it is strike 3. She could have run to first base. They still haven't tagged her.
Now batting from Bishop Fenwick, number 2, Shannon Corcoran.
Shannon Corcoran led off, fly to left field. Tries to bunt and pushes it foul. Alyssa Grossi is the third baseman. It's funny because obviously these girls didn't play last year anything because there was no Agganis game, but there was no baseball, softball at all with COVID. Alyssa Grossi was a third baseman her first 2 years at St. Mary's. And then this year, they turned it around. And she's the second baseman. And now she plays the Agganis game and she's back at third base. The runner steals third. High for a ball. And they're having trouble getting it back to the pitch. That's the second time they overshot the runway. Pretty good little crowd here for this one on noontime Sunday. Hit high in the air to left field. This should be deep enough. Catch is made. Tagging up and scoring is Martinez.
Now batting from Essex Tech, number 4, Alley County.
Second time. Cochran is flat out to left. Alley County got the first hit of the game. High and tight for a ball. Popped up. Two outs, nobody on. We're tied at 2. North grabbed that 1-0 lead. South took it away, getting 2. And now they've tied it up. And the ball's hit foul back off the screen. High for a ball. Hit to left field. Left fielder makes her second play. But once again, an error. There were 2 errors by the North. Now the South gives it back. And they get the run to tie it up. We're halfway through the ball game. And we're tied at 2. So we go from one Danvers pitcher to another. Brooke Rassi, Danvers is the new pitcher. So Eldridge goes 3.
Leading off for the South from Saugus High School.
Struck out 5. Didn't walk a batter. Gave up 2 runs that were unearned. Gave up only 2 base hits. 3 hits, excuse me. One of those hits was thrown out trying to steal second base. Catherine Schenner of Saugus. I don't know if it's her father or her grandfather was an outstanding football player at Saugus. I apologize for not mentioning who's making the defensive plays. I mean, if I know them, obviously, but they interchange these people. They move them in, and they don't give us who's playing where or off the shortstop. Shannon will reach on the error. So errors have been the story of the game.
Now batting from Winthrop, number 16, Sophia Vitale.
Sophia Vitale from Winthrop. In for a strike. So we go from one damaged battery to another damaged battery. It's still Zella behind the plate. Hit solidly to left field, in for a base hit. He gets by the left fielder. They're going to send her home. Now they hold her up. Sophia Vitale gets the second triple of the game. And they're going to pinch. They're going to have a runner for her as she comes to the bench. They waved her around first, then they held her up.
Number 2, Kirby Dalton.
Kirby Dalton from Saugus hits it to third.
Now batting from Chelsea, number 7, Michaela McKinnon. Now batting from Saugus, number 3, Kylie Dalton.
Line to the shortstop. So they double their fun again. They get 2 more. After North had battled to tie it up. The error to start the inning, the triple by Vitale, and then the pass ball. And they get 2. And they now have a 2-run cushion. We finished 4 in this Agganis Classic. And it's 4-2. The South over the North.
Aldridge.
Sophia Vitale, who got that big triple, knocking a run, and then they had a runner for her. I believe it was Izzy Mahoney from Winthrop. Scored the second run. Swing and a miss. This is Eldridge, who struck out swinging her first trip. She's facing Vitale from Winthrop for the first time. Popped up. About a step in foul territory. First baseman makes the play. So Leah Ventry went the first 4. Line shot, foul. She got all of that one. She went the first 4. Gave up 2 runs. They were unearned because there were 2 errors in the inning. She gave up 2 hits, struck out 2, and she can get the win because she goes out leading 4-2. Olivia Fillmore from Masco grounded out 3rd to 1st, her 1 trip. Hit foul again. I mentioned some of these kids will be playing. I look at Lisa Grossi, she'll be playing in the basketball game. Some of them may be playing in the soccer game. Olivia Fillmore gets a base hit. Taylor Frost ripped a triple and scored the first run of the ball game.
Now batting from Rockport, number 8, Taylor Frost.
Off to catch his glove. In for a strike on the inside corner. A beautiful day here at Frazier Field. Popped up, too far for anybody to go get it. Just a couple of clouds over the ballpark, way out center field. Over behind Pine Hill, it's off to the left. The big puffy white clouds, but blue skies mostly over the ballpark. Strike 3 called. Change up gets her looking. 2 away. Brooke Gracia from Danvers.
Now batting from Danvers, number 9, Brooke Gracia.
She got an RBI. She hit a ground ball a shot. It was booted, but the runner from third would have scored anyway. They tried to make the play at first base on her. So the runner was scoring anyway, so she got an RBI. Shot into left center field, a base hit. She's going to get another RBI. So North gets a little closer.
Now batting from Hamilton Wenham, number 16, Abby Hogan.
Swing and a miss, the runner will go to third. She was going to try and score, but it's so far behind home plate to the backstop, they limited it to 1 base. So the tying run at third. Abby Hogan from Hamilton Wenham got hit by a pitch. Punches it past first base, foul. We got Brooke Warren warming up in the bullpen for the South. Hit in the air to center field. For the third out. But North gets a little closer. They put a run on the board. They now trail by 1, 4-3. Off that nice RBI double by Brooke Gracia from Danvers. And we'll move into the bottom half of the 5th. And Brooke Gracia from Danvers will take the mound for the second time. They've slowed down over at Manning Field. I thought they'd be going rapid fire with lacrosse. Madison Smith of Everett will be the first hitter.
Leading off for the South from Everett, number 12, Madison Smith.
Down and away for a ball. So as you can tell, they're from all over the place. Hamilton, Winter, Rockport, Gloucester, hometown Lynn, Danvers. Peabody had probably the best season in the area, going undefeated, number one seed in the state tournament. The reason they're not here, they don't have any seniors. They're a very young team. Hit to third. One away in the bottom of the fifth.
Now batting for Lynn Classical, number 10, Kylie Boisson.
Kylie Poisson from Classical. Hit foul at home plate. She had the luxury of playing with her sister. She was the center fielder. Her sister was the shortstop. Sister will probably be here next year. Chop foul to third base. Hit foul to the backstop. Way wide for a ball. Late swing, popped it up right to the pitcher. That was almost an excuse me swing.
Now batting from Everett, number 8, Haley O'Terry.
Haley O'Terry from Everett was a strikeout victim, as was just about everybody through the first two innings against Eldridge. She struck out 5 out of 6, retired 6 in a row.
Now batting from St. Mary's, number 6, Alyssa Rossi.
Alicia Grossi popped to the shortstop for one trip. That one went right through the wickets. Hit that one foul right to the north bench. Hit foul again to the north bench. Way wide for a ball. She likes that inside pitch. In on the hands. She jammed her again, but this time Grossi holds up, goes down and in. Off to catch her for ball 4. That's going to move the runner up. First walk given up by anybody.
Now batting for Lynn Glasgow, number 14, Brooke Warren.
Brooke Warren got a base hit her last time up. And she fouls it off. She was thrown out trying to steal second. High and tight for a ball. South's trying to get that 2-cushion lead back. Grossi takes off and goes to second base. So it's second and third with 2 outs. Had a deck that was almost hit her in the head. And that's ball 4. So the bases are loaded. They're going to run for Brady Warren because I believe she's going to come in and pitch.
Now batting from St. Mary's, number 4, Marina DiBiaso.
Marina DiBiaso popped to the second baseman. Her one trip. Can always tell Marina she wears the red batting helmet. Hit to short. And they make the play at second. So they tried to add to their lead. They couldn't do it. They had second and third. Actually had the bases loaded with 2 walks. We've completed 5. The South holding on to a skinny 1-run lead at South 4, North 3, going into the 6th inning. We start at the top of the 6th. Brady Warren is the new pitcher. Taylor Holmes from Reading popped to second base for 1 trip. Hit to short. They throw it away. We've had a few errors in this game. In for a strike.
Now batting for Rockport, number 18, Zoe Lucido.
Zoe Lucido from Rockport. Nice pitch on the corner, change speeds. A little different look from the North now with the lefty on the mound. Hit to second. They tag the runner. She bobbled the ball at first base.
Now batting for Masconomet, number 20, Eliza Reinbold.
Looked like they had a nice double play. And they bobbled the ball at first base. In for a strike. Eliza Reimold from Masco. I got to see her play. They played St. Mary's. She's an outstanding player. She had a great year. She grounded out short to first her one trip. Strike 3 called. And they almost had a strikeout throwout. Perfect off-speed pitch. So the inning should be over. They should have had the double play. Instead, the tying run is at second base. Popped up. Long run for the catcher. Nice try. Sarah Sargent from Pentucket saying, don't go get that. Don't go get that. Catcher came close. Catcher was the only one in the area. Nobody else even chased it. Chased that pitch. It was way up and in and swung right through it. Down the way for a ball. Hit, big hop to the third baseman. Got the real Sunday hop. So the North goes down in the sixth. North is down to their last 3 outs, trailing by a run. And it looks like Eldridge is going to come back on the mound. It's warm out there. I don't envy the 2 catchers in this game. Wearing all that equipment. Looks like it's Alley County now behind the plate for Eldridge. Eldridge, she's got to be, if she's not 6 feet, she's very close. And she takes that long stride. She's almost handing the ball to the catcher. One of those rare times that softball played here at Frazier Field. Home of the 5 high schools, counting Kip.
Leading off for the South from Saugus, number 5, Alexa.
Also home to the Navigators, who are playing now, and home to Fisher College. Fisher College is a great contributor to this ballpark. They've contributed mightily to the city. For a while, they contributed to the old in Glasgow, where initially they played their basketball games, and to the Babe Ruth people that breed when they played softball games down here. They moved out of there now, but they were there for a while. Ferraro Saugus grounds out for the first out.
Now batting from Wilmington, number 18, Ashley Crawford.
Ashley Crawford reached on an error and scored one of the 2 runs in the 3rd inning. Swinging through that pitch. So Eldredge back in for what could be the last 2 innings, because I think even if they're winning, I think the South bats in the 7th just to give everybody their at bats. Strike 3.
Now batting from Saugus, number 13, Leah Ventry.
Leah Ventry of Saugus got a base hit up into center field, knocking in the 2 runs. At the time, giving the South a 2-1 lead. Hits it into right field for another base hit.
Now batting from Wilmington, number 19, Jenna Sweeney.
Jenna Sweeney of Wilmington got a double the first time up. Swing and a miss. Six.
4-3. So, you hear me now?
No.
Gary should be presented.
He'll be presented. Gary.
Last name is Schumann? Yeah. Well, with this girl that's trouble, it's going to be the winning pitcher, but I'd like to see if they're going to get it.
You got, as long as he knows, he needs 2 minutes. I'm not staying up.
This Davis girl's pitched tremendous. So,
Leah Ventry's 2 for 2 with 2 RBI.
John, the Davis girls are retired 8 out of 9, right? This girl on the mound is the first 6.
5 out of 6.
Thanks, John. Nice seeing you.
Hi.
Call 3rd strike. Eldredge keeps it going. He struck out 5 of the first 6. Now she comes in and strikes out 2 out of 3. 7 out of 8 outs by Eldredge strikeouts. We finished 6. South leading it 4-3 over the North. Final shot for the North. They need at least a run. We should mention we mentioned again the scholarships. The local scholarship winners: Mary Collins, outstanding soccer player, Lynn Classical. Shakib Idris from Lynn English. He got the Patrick McManus scholarship. Kathleen Mannion from Lynn Classical, another great soccer player. Jessica Page, another great soccer player. And Brooke Warren, who we mentioned earlier, who's on the mound right now, trying to finish it off here, are the locals. Swing and a miss. Rebecca Zellen from Danvers popped to short her one trip. Popped up, too far for anybody to go get it. Off the backstop. Hit the center field for a base hit, left center field for a base hit. So the North has a tying run on base. Ashley Martinez of English.
Number 24, Ashley Martinez.
She reached on an error and scored the first run, or the second run. Popped up, nice play by the second baseman. One away.
Now batting, Brooklyn English. Number 25, Ariana Wachowski.
Ariana Wachowski struck out swinging her one trip. Misses that pitch. We mentioned it's the 65th anniversary. This is happy. I've gone this far. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. And if Paul Harron could have waited one more week, next Sunday, 6/27, would be the anniversary of Harry Agganis' death. Strike three call. Good pitch by Warren. One out away from a south wind. Shannon Cochran has hit it well twice and flied out to left field twice. 6/27, 1956. I had just graduated from high school. And the largest umpire got a piece of the umpire, and he slams the softball down. It got a piece of his hand. (1956), 6/27, the largest funeral I have ever seen in the city of Lynn. It was at St. George Orthodox Church on the Common. Common was filled, outside the church was filled. Up and in, she swung right through it. The city was jammed. Ends it on a high note. Back-to-back strikeouts. I believe the South will still hit. Maybe not. They used to just hit anyway. I don't think they're going to do that. They're not going to hit. So Carrie Schumann, who helps out with this program,
That's the game, folks. The final score is
reporter for the Lynn Journal, will be at the home plate, and he'll give the presentations for the MVPs. North got a run in the second. Taylor Frost got a triple and scored on an error, make it 1-0.
From Danvers, Lily Eldridge.
Lily Eldridge is the MVP. She was outstanding. She struck out 5 of the first 6. She gave up 2 runs, but they were both unearned. There were errors behind her. And she came in and pitched and got 3 more strikeouts in the 6th and 7th. 8 strikeouts. And Leah Ventry of Saugus got 2 base hits, knocked in 2 runs, and pitched very well on her own. She gave up 2 runs, but they were unearned because of errors. So both starting pitchers. Ventry also gets it for her hitting. So that 1 run made it 1-0. Two errors cost the North in the second. And it was Leah Ventry, the pitcher, getting the big base hit up the middle, knocking in 2, and gave South their first lead at 2-1. North tied it up on an error and a couple of pass balls, and Martinez scored on a fly ball to left field. It was 2-2. South got what they needed in the 4th. A big triple by Sophie Vitale of Winthrop. After an error, Shenna reached on the error. A triple by Vitale, knocked in the run, then she scored on a pass ball, made it 4-2. North got a run back in the 5th. Fillmore got a base hit. A big RBI double by Gracier of Danvers, knocked in the run to make it 4-3. And then Brooke Warren came on, pitched the last 2 innings. Gave up 1 base hit, struck out 3 and 2 to end the game. A nice performance on the mound, getting the save. And the 65th Agganis Classic to start. Although I think the girls' lacrosse game finished first, but the start here is usually the start. Softball is in the books. The South gets the win this year. They win it 4-3 over the North. We hope you enjoyed it. I'm John Hoffman saying we'll see you next time.